I'm Elissa, one of the characters in Gus, the book series that my grandmother writes. Today, she will be reading my favorite story.
The Invaders. All the cousins were together at their grandparents' ranch for their summer vacation. I'm already bored, Cal reported. What can we do for fun? Alyssa said, I have a great idea. If we go back to the ruins of the old pioneer homestead and go to sleep, maybe we'll wake up in the past like we did last summer. That would be awesome, Kara exclaimed. I would love to see the pioneer kids again. I really liked Elizabeth. She looked just like me, so I'm sure we must be related. It's funny to think of those kids who are our age as being our ancestors. Cal added, time travel is never boring, and I would like to have a catfish supper with the pioneers again. Ethan and Logan agreed to the time travel idea. So they went to ask Grandma if they could all go exploring with their dogs, Gus and Luke. Gus is a blue heeler and Luke is a yellow Labrador retriever. Grandma was happy that the kids were going hiking so they could get exercise and have fun. I'll pack everyone a lunch, some snacks and drinks in your backpacks. Don't forget to pack your hiking supplies and remember to watch for snakes. Have fun, but try to get back before dark. The kids dressed for the time period of the 1800s and went with their dogs to the old pioneer cabin ruins. It was a long hike, so they ate their sandwiches, chips, and strawberry cake when they got there. The sandwiches were a variety of ham and cheese, turkey, and roast beef. Grandma also fixed each of them a peanut butter sandwich on brown sugar cinnamon bread. It was delicious. The boys all drank Gatorades and the girls drank juice boxes. They also all drank a bottle of water. Gus and Luke were given the dog food Grandma sent for them. After eating all that food, we should be able to go to sleep for a while, Logan said. The kids started bunching up leaves to lie down on next to the cabin ruins. Gus and Luke laid down at Kara and Alyssa's feet. With the warm sun shining down on them, they had no trouble going to sleep. They soon woke up next to the newly built cabin, so they knew it must have happened again. They had gone back in time. Wow, Logan exclaimed. It worked. Let's go down to the creek and see if the pioneer kids are there. When the time travelers found the pioneer children at the creek, they were all excited to see each other again. Kara said, what has been happening since we've been gone? Kara's pioneer friend Elizabeth explained, Kara, we are so glad to see y'all, but something terrible has happened. A band of Indians raided our homesteads and stole some of our horses. But I thought y'all had a peace treaty with Chief Straight Arrow, Kara said. We do, but he does not have the authority over the invading band of Indians. They came from up north to steal horses and kidnap settlers. Just then, a war party of raiding Indians rushed in on galloping horses. Here's a picture of the invaders. The children all ran and scattered to search for hiding places. Alyssa fell down, so her big brother Ethan ran back to help her up and then stood in front of her as the Indians charged. An Indian brave decided Ethan would make a good warrior, so he reached down from his horse and grabbed Ethan as he raced by. Ethan was struggling to get away and fighting with the warrior who captured him as the horse raced by. Soon the warrior and Ethan disappeared over a hill. The raid was over and the Indians and Ethan were gone without a trace. No, Alyssa cried. We have to get Ethan back. However, no one was around to hear her. Gus came running over to Alyssa and led her to where her brother Logan and her cousin Kara were with Luke. Here's a picture of Gus. They were all relieved to see each other. They captured Ethan when he was helping me, Alyssa cried. They captured Cal too, Kara was sad as she explained what happened to her brother. A warrior ran his horse into Cal, knocking him down. The warrior dismounted and threw Cal across the horse and jumped on behind him. Cal was fighting with the warrior, trying to push him off the horse. They were still fighting when they finally vanished out of sight. We have to save them, Logan said. We need to make a plan. Let's go talk to the pioneers. Logan, Kara, Alyssa, and their dogs were going to do whatever it took to save Ethan and Cal. Mr. Hughes and the other pioneers were concerned about the kidnapped boys. I don't think they will harm Ethan and Cal if the boys cooperate with the Indians. They will be guarded though, so it will be hard to rescue them. Maybe we can combine forces with Chief Straight Arrow's band of Indians and force the invaders to leave the area, Mr. Hughes suggested, and the other settlers agreed. If you can get everyone together who can fight, I will ask Chief Straight Arrow to meet y'all at the crossing at Lucy Creek in 1 hour, Logan offered. Give us 2 hours, Logan. We will be there, Mr. Hughes committed. The girls and Logan rode some of Mr. Hughes's horses to Chief Straight Arrow's camp. Gus and Luke were running behind them. After the kids explained what had happened, Chief Straight Arrow agreed to meet with the pioneers to battle the invaders. I have a plan, Alyssa explained calmly. If I dress in Indian clothes and ride an Indian pony to the invaders' camp, I will say you sent me to warn them about the pioneers' attack, Chief Straight Arrow. When the warriors leave their camp, Logan, Kara, and I can get Ethan and Cal out. Then when the invading Indians get to the Lucy Creek crossing, all the pioneers and your band of braves can surround them and make them surrender. Alyssa looked like an Indian. She had a dark complexion with brown eyes and dark hair. Chief Straight Arrow agreed to the plan and gave Alyssa the Indian clothing. Then everything started falling into place. Here's a picture of Alyssa dressed like an Indian girl. Logan, Kara, and Alyssa rode close to the invaders' camp and waited until the settlers and Chief Straight Arrow's band of braves had time to get to the crossing. Logan had transferred everything from their backpacks to the saddlebags on the pioneer's horse he was riding. Since the woods were dark, he took out a flashlight to help find their way to the invading Indians' camp. These modern conveniences come in handy in the woods, Logan commented. When they were close enough to the enemy camp, the kids and dogs waited quietly until it was time to go in. Then Alyssa rode into the camp with Gus walking beside her Indian pony. Chief Straight Arrow sent me to warn you the settlers are gathering at the crossing at Lucy Creek to plan an attack. The chief will meet you there if you hurry. Chief Straight Arrow's medicine dog with the ghost face will lead you. Gus then howled on Alyssa's command. He sounded like a wolf. He has strong medicine, Alyssa said. The leader of the invaders saw Gus's ghost-like face and the way he howled like a wolf and believed Gus was a spirit dog. Take them to Chief Straight Arrow and into battle, spirit dog, Alyssa shouted. Gus howled and took off running toward the creek crossing. The band of invading Indians got on their horses, yelling a battle cry, and followed. Luke quickly found Ethan and Cal tied up in one of the teepees. Kara and Logan used their pocket knives to cut the boys' ropes, and they all escaped. Ethan and Cal were very proud of Alyssa. Kara, Logan, and their dogs. Are y'all all right? Kara asked. We are now, Cal answered. Here's a picture of when Gus led the Indians into battle. Ethan told Alyssa, "You were so brave and convincing when you told the Indians to hurry to meet Chief Straight Arrow. You were amazing." "I was pretending I was Pocahontas," Alyssa said with a smile. Everyone laughed. "We were so glad to see Luke. Then we saw Kara and Logan with their pocket knives," Cal said admiringly. "It was like being rescued by the cavalry. That was a great plan." "It was Alyssa's plan," Kara said. "I couldn't let anything happen to my big brother and cousin after y'all were so brave during the Indian raid." Ethan and Cal thanked Logan, Kara, and Alyssa for saving them. The kids then rode to where they could watch from a distance while the invading Indian band was surrounded by Chief Straight Arrow's band and the settlers. Chief Arrow convinced the invaders to leave the area and return the stolen horses to the pioneers. Mr. Hughes and the other pioneers made peace with the invaders. Some gifts were exchanged, and the invading band of Indians said they would move on. They said they would not make war since the medicine dog was against them and had trapped them. Gus ran back to where the other time travelers were waiting. The kids were all happy there was going to be peace again. "I guess you're not bored now, Cal," Kara said, laughing. "I wouldn't mind a little boredom after all this," Cal proclaimed. "It's getting late," Ethan observed. "We better get back to the old homestead so we can go back to the future." "But I didn't get my catfish supper," Cal protested. "That will have to wait for another time," Ethan laughed. The kids and their dogs got to the cabin before the pioneers came home and had no trouble going to sleep. When they woke up after a few minutes, they were next to the cabin ruins in their own time. "Let's go back to the ranch house," Ethan suggested. "I want to go to sleep in my own bed." Everyone agreed. They were all exhausted, but what an amazing adventure. Thank you for listening to my story.